Yeah, hello, hi everyone. Welcome back to the channel. And in this particular video, what we will be taking a look is we'll be creating a code commit repository. And after the code commit, what we can do is we can go to the code deploy, and the code deploy will be happening in EC2. Okay, and this whole thing is present onto the AWS code pipeline. Okay. So what is the thing here is you have to, like, we all have to be very concerned and be very clear on the code, that what code we are operating. So for here, what I am going to do is here is that project is a simple web page, right, with a form with two fields, along with two fields called as username and password, and this is a form. Okay, makes sense. And since this is a web page, so we should be installing a web server. So web server we can consider as Apache 2, or we can also consider as Nginx. Okay, and then we can move ahead, right? So first will be the configuration of the environment in which the deployment will be happening, the final production stage, and after that the deployment of the project. So first will be always with the configuration, then we can move forward with the deployment of the code or a deployment of the project. Makes sense, right? So deployment platform what we have chosen here is that called as EC2. Okay, so that's all, we can do that for now, right? So what we'll be doing here is that, so straight away we'll be going to cloud, that AWS management console, and let's log in there. Okay, so now we are ready, and now we are in the console. Okay, so what we will be doing here is that we will be creating two tabs of AWS. The first one will be for code commit, and we are creating a repository. So repository will be sample demo, and that's all. We can keep everything be by default. Okay, so this is something. AWS code commit is no longer available to new customers. We can continue to use services normal. Okay, so currently fine. So we are not having any new code commit thing. Okay, cool. So again, like we can use GitHub. So let's go to GitHub, creating a new repository, sample demo code deploy. Then click on create repository, and we can upload a simple file, right? So let's go to the file, and let's upload that single index.html file, right? Then I will be clicking on commit the changes. All right, so yeah, here we have got the our demo code, right? So now we will be going to EC2, because the final deployment platform we should be configuring that, right? So let's go to the EC2. Then I will be going to instance running, clicking on launch instance. So code pipeline demo, selecting the image as Amazon Linux 2, instance type T2 micro, keeping everything be by default. So just choosing the security group number 7. Okay. Or better, I can just create a new security group. That's all. Okay. Okay. Then I will be coming to advanced details. So here is called as IAM instance profile. Alright, so these are the roles in which we have to configure. So let us now configure the role. So I will be clicking on this one called as create new IAM profile. Then I will be clicking on create role. The use case will be EC2 and the policy will be administrator and code deploy role, code deploy full access, code pipeline full access, and yeah, that's all right. We're clicking on new. The role name will be code deploy role. Then I will be clicking on this one called as create role. Then go to the old tab, reload it, and here it will be coming as code deploy role, right? Alright, that's all I guess. Now we can click on this one called as launch instance. Okay, cool. So we'll be going to the instance, and now what we'll be doing is that we'll be going to connect to the instance, and after that we can move forward with the installation of code deploy agent. Okay, so I will be selecting the instance, click on connect, and let's do with the instance connect. And I will be clicking on called as connect. Make sense? Okay. So first thing is that we will be switching to sudo user. So I will be typing sudo su, then update it, update the operating machine, installation of Ruby, wget, make it executable, install, so, and this is where we are installing the Apache 2 server, right? So yum install httpd. Okay, and that's all right. Once we have started it, so we will be going to the public IP, and yeah, so while hitting on the public IP, the sample page should be visible, and this is the page that what we will be replacing with our index.html. Makes sense? So this is what we have done. This is the configuration part. Sorry, this is the configuration part. So if you can take a look at the history, These all are the commands that which I have done now, right? So what I will be doing currently is that I have to deploy the code. So the code deployment will be coming from GitHub, okay, and the code deploy will be happening on the EC2. That's our final deployment platform, right? Makes sense? So let's move ahead with that thing. So go to the third tab and now go to code deploy service. We'll be creating up an application. Yeah, so that's all right. Yeah, so this is the, sorry, let's go to the getting started. So click on create application and put on this application name as my demo application, something around that. The compute platform, what should be the compute platform? EC2, because hey, we have configured the EC2, right? So click on create application. Okay. And now since we are done with this one, so what we will be doing now is that we will be creating a deployment group. So I will be clicking on this one called as create deployment group. And this is where I will be attaching the instance name, right? So EC2 deployment group. Choosing place. So where is that? Sorry. So let's go to the old role and copy the ARN and paste it here. Okay. Okay, now what is left? Yeah, that's all right. So there's a name key that what we'll be selecting, right? And let me check if you're not missing out anything. I guess I just done right. Never, because we have already done the installation all at once. Uncheck that option, right? Done. That's all. So we'll be now hitting on this one, create deployment group. Code AWS CodeDeploy doesn't have the required permission to assume the role. Okay, let's okay. Just 1 second. Okay, cool. So that was just a minor error, and for sure you can take a look in the description as well. This was the error. Just make it a code deploy. That's all. Okay. Cool. So the deployment group is created now, right? So after creating the deployment group, what we can do here is that we can go to code pipeline and we can do the pipelining thing, right? So before that, let's go to our repository and we will be creating a file here. And this file is called as app spec.yaml. Okay. Okay, that's all. So for checking up the syntax, I will be copying this whole particular code, and I can go to YAML lint. I can paste it and click on go. So it says as valid YAML, right? So that's all. So I will be committing the changes. Commit to main branch. Now app.spec is done. Now what we can do is that we can move forward with the code pipeline. So I will be going to any of the tab, then I can type code pipeline. So this is the final step, that what we are doing is creating up the code pipeline, right? So we'll be going to code pipeline, and we can click on create pipeline, demo pipeline as one. Okay, so let's create a new role, superseded, keeping everything be by default. Oh sorry, what's a new role, right? Yeah, allow code pipeline to create a role, that is yeah. So oh cool, so let's make it one. Yeah, so the source provider is GitHub version 2. Trigger tab is no filter. Then I will be going to 1 second. So that probably let's make start. Connection is ready to use. Okay. So here I will be going to sample demo code deploy, right? And here we can click on the main branch, and everything we will be keeping B by default. So the build provider, is there any build provider we have done? No, right? So we'll be clicking on next. We'll be straight away going for the deploy. So click on next. Skip the build, yeah. So here we can select AWS CodeDeploy. Application name what we have selected, my demo application, deployment group as EC2, and I hope that is fine. AWS. Okay. That's all right. So we'll be clicking on new, and let's click on create pipeline. So it's currently creating up the pipeline, and let's see how it goes. Okay, so the source has been started. And currently now it's in the deploy stage. Okay, so it has deployed, right? So we can go back to the EC2, and let's click on open address. And okay, there is some problem with the deployment, I guess. Okay, now it came, right? Yeah. So I think most probably it is of, oh, it's of HTTPS. So we will be clicking on without the S, then it will be coming as here, right? So what we can do here is that we can go just do the re-verification. We can go to our repository. We can go to this index.html file. We can click on edit. Then we can slowly come down, and I guess we can write one simple h1 tag, right? So h1 tag, hello, this is a v2 version of code pipeline release. Okay, so this is what I have done in the main branch. So this is the commit which has been done just now, right? So I will be going back to the pipeline, and I will just, okay, it has already started, right? So it has saying that we have updated the source uh, index.html file, right? So we will be going to this particular GitHub and we can check the hash, okay, the commit logs, right? So where is that? One second. Two lines, yeah, the commit C. So that's 9BECC. So we can go here, it's the same, right? 9BECC. Oh, it's deployed again, okay. So we'll go back to our page and we will just going to refresh it. Yeah, so hello, this is a V2 version of CodePipeline release, and that's the same thing what we have written here, right? So yeah, that's all. And I will be keeping the what role I have selected, right? What is the thing that I have selected there? I will be pasting that in the description box as well, okay. Thanks all.